And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Hello, I'm National Weather Service meteorologist Peter Chan with your Alaska aviation weather outlook on this Saturday, November 23rd, 2024. On this Saturday, this late morning, we are watching low pressure coming across the western Bering. This low will take a track just south of St. Lawrence Island by Sunday afternoon and then moving across Norton Sound into the west central interior in the pre-dawn hours of Monday morning. There's a frontal system ahead of this, a push of milder, moist air coming in off the North Pacific and up in through the Bering Sea and then overspreading the west coast. Air is warmer at or above freezing, especially off of the YK Delta. So areas surrounding Norton Sound down here into southwest mainland and coastal areas could see snow mixed with or even change over to a little bit of freezing rain or sleet and just plain old rain where temperatures get above freezing. And as a result, we have a number of winter weather advisories along the Seward coastline, Norton Sound coastal areas, and then down here through the lower Yukon and Kuskokwim river valleys extending up toward the western interior. And then we also have some winter weather advisories that have been issued for Sunday evening in through the day Monday around Fairbanks, the White Mountains areas further west toward Tanana, Nenana. 4 to as much as 8 inches of snow as this moisture comes inland. The air over the mainland interior is colder, so it's going to fall as snow. But basically, the southwest slopes here of the Brooks Range, the western interior coming across the central interior, it's going to be all snow, 4 to as much as 8 inches of snow over about a 36 to 48 hour period. So not a major storm, but definitely several inches of snow on the way. So we expect widespread IFR conditions Sunday morning. Brooks Range, west coast into the western interior, creeping up lower middle Yukon Valley, still VFR. We've had high pressure over northwest Canada is going to slide southeastward. The strong winds that have been in place over the panhandle, these outflow winds as a result of this Arctic high, will begin to relax by the time we get into Sunday evening and by Monday morning. But before then, still gusty winds this Saturday and into maybe into Sunday morning. But the strongest winds this Saturday morning. Notice the IFR conditions just increase, pushing gradually eastward across the interior Sunday afternoon. And then by the time we get into Monday morning, still holding off, just starting to get here in the Alaska range. There's a front that's going to work its way, in addition to the low center that's coming inland into the west central interior. There'll be this front that crosses over the Alaska range by the time we get into Monday. Areas like Anchorage could pick up maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow with this front during the day Mondays, and temperatures are going to be rising back up to around the freezing mark because this is a mild front, and as that milder air with moisture comes inland, we just expect widespread areas of light to occasionally moderate snow. Southern periphery, there could be still a little mix of precipitation. Secondary low takes shape on Sunday out in the western Gulf. Not a strong feature, but it will have IFR conditions around it with that moisture extending up into Prince William Sound Monday morning. And then notice as the whole system translates eastward, we have the initial slug of moisture that works its way across the interior, the low center working its way east-northeastward, and then the secondary low over the northern Gulf, frontal system pushing east. Widespread IFR conditions, central, northeastern, southeastern, south central mainland, and pushing into the Panhandle and much of the northern northeastern Gulf Coast. So past conditions Sunday, IFR up there throughout the Brooks Range, Anatuvik Pass, Adigan Pass. You're going to see periods of light, moderate snow throughout the day and into Sunday night and Monday. Lake Clark and Merrill will still hold on to VFR conditions along the Alaska Range. Sunday should still be relatively uneventful weather for the Alaska Range. Rainy Pass on up to Windy Pass, eastward through Isabel and Mentasta Passes, VFR conditions. Same thing flying across the Copper River Basin as we go south-southwest. VFR conditions there into Tanita Pass and then down through Portage Pass. Generally VFR conditions. If you get a little further east out toward Prince William Sound, you may start to encounter some MVFR conditions there on Sunday. And then Chilkoot and White in the Panhandle, VFR conditions expected Sunday and at least into early Monday, but certainly for the day Sunday, we still have that high pressure coming down from the Yukon, Northwest Territories through British Columbia. That'll be the case as we go into Monday. So VFR conditions will hold, and those stronger winds, those outflow or gap winds, will begin to let up here for later Sunday and into Monday. So the freezing levels aloft, it just shows you where the warmer air is being drawn northward. The low pressure center out here, the low will be passing Sunday afternoon just south of St. Lawrence Island, then coming in here through Norton Sound and working its way up the Yukon, middle Yukon Valley. Ahead of it, it's drawn. Freezing levels aloft, 6,000 feet upwards here to Cook Inlet, the Kenai Peninsula, 8,000 feet along and just east of Kodiak Island, and then further south in the North Pacific, we have a dome of 10,000 foot freezing levels aloft, just the signaling of the warmer air. There's also a ridge of high pressure that's breaking down. That's part of this is also associated with, because the front's pushing in from the west, but this dome of warmer air is really the result of what has been a very strong mid and upper level ridge of high pressure that's going to quickly break down and fold over as we go through later Sunday and early Monday, allowing for the front to work its way eastward and a mid-level impulse that'll bring some of this precipitation out over the Alaska Range. So on Sunday, we have widespread potential for some moderate icing along the Brooks Range, parts of the North Slope, but especially the Yukon Valley, into portions of the Kuskokwim Valley and along and north of the Alaska Range. In the central northern interior, generally, anytime you get to about the cloud base above 2,000 feet higher, there's potential for moderate icing. And then further south, 4,000 feet here in, say, areas of the lower Yukon, upper Kuskokwim, and then where the air is even warmer still in the south ends of this down toward Bristol Bay. If there's any precipitation trailing out back toward the eastern Aleutians, generally above 6, even 8,000 feet back toward the central Aleutians there on Sunday. Upper level winds, 30,000 feet. We have this ridge. This ridge is going to begin to break down. It's just going to kind of fold over and collapse. But we have trough of low pressure here, Bering Strait, eastern Russia, jet core, upwards of 100, 105 knots across the mainland from the west-southwest. And then on Sunday, we find here's the low. That's going to be a Sunday afternoon. The surface low is about here. It's going to work its way east-northeastward. A broad belt of west-southwest winds, generally 35 to locally 50 knots. And then at 3,000 feet, we have low circulation. As I said, Sunday afternoon, the low will be just to the south-southeast there of St. Lawrence Island, working eastward and into the west-central interior. And winds ahead of that feature southwest-west, 35 to locally 45 knots. The backside of the low circulation here at 3,000 feet is stronger over eastern Russia, 45 to 55 knots. Those 45-knot winds at 3,000 feet there out there toward Point Hope, Cape Lisburne. So turbulence, moderate turbulence is likely up here along that area, Point Hope, Cape Lisburne, normally a very windy spot, surface to 3,000 feet. And then with the southwesterly west flow ahead of the system, especially just west of the Alaska Range as we go up the lower middle Yukon Valley and the Kuskokwim River Valley, we could see some winds create moderate turbulence, surface to 4,000 feet, including areas here along especially Kuskokwim Bay during the day on Sunday.